Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another movie reaction and commentary. And today we're going to be hopping into Kick-Ass. Now, I'm cool to say that, right? I think YouTube allowed me to be able to say that word. I just can't say any other words, right? I don't know. But I'm excited to get to this one because surprisingly, this is like I say an older film, but we are in the stage of superhero films where now we are at the point to where even parodies of superhero films are being made, and low-key, shout out to the boys, they're killing it. But you know, we've entered this stage beforehand. It feels like, like with experimental films like this. I think there was like another one that came out that was similar along the lines of this, where it was like more of like a comedic story, or kind of like a poke into like the vigilante-ism, I guess, of what it's like to be a superhero. But yeah, I mean, I've always was interested in that, but it only seemed like that was like a blip. But now that, superhero films are populating everything, we're seeing a whole lot more of like, films like this happening, or TV shows like this that are happening, which I'm always excited for. I'm always digging the pendulum of things and seeing what type of art forms we get from all sides. But I'm excited to see what this turns out to be, because I guess this can kind of be somewhat similar to like more of like a modern satirical form of a film, at least to my knowledge. Now, this could be completely different in a lot of ways, one being that it is a film in its own self, which I'm sure it is, otherwise it wouldn't have gotten recommended to me, I'm gonna just assume. But yeah, I'm more excited about the filmmaking and just the story that is within this story as well too, and not just on the satirical nature, if they do attempt to target that. And again, The Boys is what pops up into mind as a show that does an excellent job at showcasing that. Now, it's a lot more absurd, I will say, but that doesn't mean that the elements can't be used in a way that helps ground out a theme or showcase realities that are kind of like a mirror into our world. So it's interesting. There's a lot of commentary you can do just simply with a hero genre. So I'm excited to jump into this. Like always, guys, if you want to be able to support the channel, the best way to do it is through Patreon. You get to have your copy of the film next to mine and literally watching all that I gotta say. Maybe your favorite part is in the YouTube edit. It'll probably be in there. So if you want to check that out, you can. You can also support the channel by leaving a like, comment, and subscribe. And at the end of the day, I just want you to sit back, relax, get your popcorn and snacks as we hop into Kick-Ass. And like always, guys, if you want to be able to check out all that I have to say, Patreon link is below if you want the full length to these. I do be providing extra commentary. Sometimes it can range from like 10 minutes more all the way up to like 30 minutes more worth of commentary that I just don't put in the YouTube edit. So if that interests you and you would like to check out more, click the link below. Here, if the story is just like a little bit shaking and it's wobbling, if that thing looks cool, it looks cool, man. That's awesome.
Greedy.
Okay, you two murderers, watch the sunrise, okay?
Where do they get a load of me?
All right, everybody, and that wraps up Kick-Ass. Okay, everybody, we just got done Kick-Ass. This one was a very interesting one. I hope that you guys enjoyed the commentary, because, as I went along this film, I tried my best to talk through why I would feel certain things and why I felt like, particularly the second half of this film, definitely slowed its pacing. I think it bit off a little bit more than it chewed. But before we get into that, I want to get into the things that I really did like here. The first half of this film, I think, is really good. And the reason why I say that is because it kind of went against some expectations on the Patreon. People were saying like, wow, yeah, the film is like, yeah, this and that. It still won, but I think this is just another example of why I enjoy watching all types of films, whether they're good or sort of good. I really don't like watching really bad films, but or at least commentating on the channel. But going back to this, the first half of the film was, in my opinion, really beautifully paced. I loved all the transitions that they were doing. I love the progression from non-superhero to superhero, or just vigilante in this case. I love that the story was very personal with our main character, even though it was still kind of hands off on some aspects. Like, I would have loved to have a better connection with him and his mother, just a little bit more, because it felt like every time they brought it up, they just kind of made fun of it. And I'm like, that's usually how heroes are made, in a sense. You know, great trauma is what fuels them to, you know, make sure that trauma doesn't spread onto other people. Now, I know that's a very deep theme, and it may be a little bit too much for this film. However, I really like Nicolas Cage's story too. Like, I thought that the things that I had wished they dove into more, it felt like they took that and imported those into other supporting characters. And though I understand to make the film a little bit more appealing to a wider audience, and to, you know, make it more comedic, that's a good method of doing that. However, what kind of happened in my sense, or my experience, especially towards the second half of the film, when things started to get a little bit more serious and things started to escalate more, the pacing sort of took a tone shift. If you notice, there's not a lot of cuts, and I'm talking about like cuts that are clever and, you know, forward the story. But it just felt like there was a lot going on, and the aspects that I would have loved to have been built upon our main character were then kind of moved on to Nicolas Cage's character. And as I grown to, you know, appreciate Nicolas Cage's character, I was like, damn, you know, he's taking this seriously. He has a daughter. His wife died because he was put to jail by the person he's trying to defeat, like the villain, which perfectly ties him into connection with the villain. But then it also segues a great little segue into his daughter picking up the mantle, and what does that mean? And it would have gave so much more oomph to that scene, despite its hilarity of Nicolas Cage screaming, being on fire, but also telling his daughter what to do. You know, I just felt like a lot of the payoffs, and particularly the themes of this film, in my opinion, that they were trying to do, would have related a little bit better with Nicolas Cage's story than it did with, you know, our main character here. And I get that he is a kid. I get that the whole thing is him being a high schooler and everything, but he had some serious things that he dealt with. Like, his mom passed away randomly. You know, he gets bullied. He gets beat up. I mean, for crying out loud, when he started doing this, he got stabbed. He doesn't get a lot of, like, attention at school. He doesn't, you know, attract women. Like, these are things that, like, he could harden himself with and become a really cool superhero and learn what really is valuable. You know, what's truly valuable, why superheroism is not just something that you should just do on for fun or even as inspiration. It should just be something that, you know, you genuinely have connection towards. Not to say that, you know, his story wasn't neatly wrapped up. It was, but it could have been a better present to have that nice little bow on top of. But for the other characters, like, you know, Nicolas Cage and even the little girl, their story was awesome. I really dug their story. So it's interesting. I had a really good time with this, but again, the stronger part was definitely the first half of this film. But I also really loved a lot of the action, you know, especially when I was able to see it, you know, when they shot the bazooka rocket out of the apartment or the high-rise building and it exploded. That's freaking dope. I dig that. So there was a lot of elements that I really dug, but I hope that you guys, you know, listen to what I had to say about it. This film is a really good one, in my opinion. I think it was just a really entertaining film, but it had the potential of really, like, cementing itself from, you know, why this is different. You know, this isn't just like poking fun at itself. It's like self-aware in a sense. So I had a good time with this one. Let me know below in the comments what your thoughts are on it as well too. Like always, guys, stay healthy and stay hydrated because we are just getting started.
Purple jacket, pocket full of weed, everything that I should ever need. Grab some matches cause they give them free, just like my time. Hair pulled back in the backseat.